TGIF. It's TGIF now. It's the end of the workday. So the weekend commences. Well, it's been the end of the workday for a few hours, but you know, now we got to do some painting here. And 8 o'clock here, Eastern Standard Time. And we've got at least a couple hours in me, I figure. Have a little bit of liquid motivation. And fill you guys in on where we left off. So we've got these two war wagons that are basically complete. Well, so to speak. We need to do the cruise on them. And we've got this lingering thing that's, we've still got the T-34-85 that we need to put on a base. So maybe we'll get to that. And but actually, I'm not going to do that because it's actually going to pull me off. It's going to take a little longer than I wanted to. So I am going to work on the last Russian vehicle that I have to finish up. Now I'm going to actually drill out some of the machine guns and stuff like that so we can get them ready. But and then base this thing in black, and then we'll go back to doing the cruise there on the war wagons. Okay, so what we've got here is this BP cast JS2, and can't really call this a kit, can't really call this a model because it's all pretty much just one thing. So let's the first thing we're going to do is let's get one of our handy dandy screws. And let's screw this thing down. I'm going to scratch this surface. I don't remember what I used for primer for this thing before, but it's pretty much irrelevant. We're going to go ahead and super glue this this on there. And hopefully that will do it, because it might be one of those things that I have to use epoxy on there. But this one has a little bonding area than the other. So just gonna put some here, and this will allow us to hold on to it without it being a nuisance. And we'll do the same thing here on the other end. Although this would probably, that little stickum stuff is gonna work better for that. Let me just find that stuff. The stuff I can remember, never remember what it's called. It's kind of overkill, but so be it. Okay. All right. Now, let's pull up. Let's see if I can get away with not having to use the computer. Okay. And let's pull up. Where did I put it here? I had it here just a second ago. I put it away. Jeez, I don't have that many books for me to misplace it. I don't really want to boot up the computers for this. As for the location of the machine gun that's coax, I'm almost certain it's on the right hand side of the vehicle, but I don't want to assume that and then have a problem. It's not turning up. I don't know where the hell it is. Ah, well. And I don't really consider myself very disorganized, but I guess stuff like that's just happening more and more often each day. Oh, here it is. It's right next to it. All right. We're going to consult our Russian tanks and armored vehicles. Okay, and should be easy to find. I wish this had an index so I could go right to where the JS2 is. And it has a rear machine gun, so we're going to drill that thing out. It's kind of in the back here. Lots of Russian tanks actually have that, including the KV series. And I want to say some of the light tanks did as well. Actually, this may not have a coaxial machine gun. Oh, that's just whacked. Okay, well. All kinds of armor stuff here, but doesn't really tell me. All right, well, we'll have to do what we didn't want to do. So boot up the computer. That's why, at a different time, you go out and get books. Now it's usually the computer's the first thing you go to check out. It happens. Well, I'll just go ahead and paint it black. So if we do decide to paint this green or anything tomorrow, then it's already cured and that's not really holding us up. Has me to we can get folks to show up here anyways. And this needs to dry anyways, so it's actually pretty heavy. This is a BP cast miniature. I don't know what you'd call this. I wouldn't call it a kit because you don't really put it together. There's not enough pieces really to call it a kit. But at the same time, I don't know if I'd call it a miniature either. Right, so we're going to come over here to... Come on. We're going to do a search for Joseph Stalin 2, coax, seal MG. Let's see what we get. We got to turn our volume down. Well, that's a nice. Well, we don't need that. How about an image? All right. Okay, here we go. It doesn't look like it's got a coax machine gun. Holy cow. Okay. Well, I'm glad we didn't drill one out. Learn something new every day. The JS2 does not have a coax machine gun. I guess this gun was so damn big in the turret that there wasn't really any space for it. All right, we're gonna work on that stuff. We're jack this up a little bit higher. There we go. All right. All right. So we still need to get our drill bits, which are over here. It seems like every Saturday, my thing I'm going to have to do when I start off every Saturday is clean all this stuff off my desk because it just seems like it's accumulating. Well, when I disconnect off the stuff that I'm doing, I just disconnect. I don't go and pick up this area afterwards. But all right, so let's do something like this one right here. This should suffice to drill out that machine gun on the back there. There's no hull machine gun. There's no hull machine gun, and there is no coax machine gun either. There's one in the rear of the turret, and then many of these carried a 12.7 millimeter machine gun in the roof. Let's let's grab this little thing here. Again, I'm probably would have been better off just throwing this in the garbage can and just getting another JS2 model. But I do not want to buy any models until I'm done with what I'm working on, what I already have. I don't know if I'll be able to keep it up, but at least it's fun talking about it. I said, hey, I can complete these things that I've had for 20 something years. Okay, we'll put a little piece of sprue in that a little later. Yeah, it smells like mothballs. Probably not a good idea to smell that. Okay, and this has some details. Boy, this thing is really pretty shoddy. Let's take this off for the time being. And I honestly don't know how this guy actually made these models. I don't know whether he took an actual model kit and then he used it to make an original. I'm honestly not sure what he did, but these aren't. See, these got some pop marks here. We're gonna fill those in. So let's get this here. We may not be able to paint it black after all. Well, right now. It should work okay. Let's just cover this. And there's a hatch right there next to it, so it doesn't have hardly any detail. Yeah, I'm really not sure how he handled making these castings. Casting, would that be accurate? Made of resin, would it still be considered a casting? Semantics. So on the computer gaming front, I found out that Matrix is running a big sale on a lot of their stuff. So I picked up a couple of games I was a big fan of back in the day. They were just too inexpensive. They've been on my watch list for a while, and this is the Close Combat series. I know I've talked about them before on here, and I had them for. I had the original ones from Atomic Games, I think, uh, way back in the day, late '90s, early 2000s, and they of course don't run with the new computers. So they did re-release them. Matrix somehow took over those games, and they did re-release them. And there's seven of them, and they just did a special for I think for $54 you can get them all. So I've played the original ones quite a bit. Everybody likes Market Garden. I don't love that. I didn't play the first one at all, but I played Close Combat 2, 3, 4, and 5, and since then they've now re-released all of those and made some improvements in them, supposedly. But they also have two new ones, or newer ones. They may be 10 years old now. And one of them is it's called I don't know what it's called. Something Con. It's the British. It's the basically Goodwood. Is it Goodwood? I'm not sure if it's Operation Goodwood, but I think Operation Goodwood was first. But this is the one that had all the Churchills they pushed it into the bocage, and Gateway to Con is what it's called, Gateway to Con, and then they have a Panthers in the Fog, which is the Morton counterattack. So I hadn't played those at all in anything. Plus, it came with a new one, the new whatever it's called, the Big Red One or whatever it is. That it's supposedly done in a different style, and everybody seems to hate it. So I played a little bit of that one this morning, and it's hard to make my decision yet whether or not I'm going to be a hater or not. I don't see why people would hate it, but but I everybody seems to be a big fan of the second one, the Market Garden one, I never really liked it much. I remember one scenario, and I've played those games quite a bit, so I got to be, I don't know, pretty good about them. They're real time, but things move really slow, even at the fast setting. So it's not like you're overwhelmed at any point. But there was this one time when I was playing the campaign, and I was in one of the cities. It might have been Nijmegen or something like that, and I was defending with a little Aufklärung group. It was three guys that had MP40s, and they were like kind of in a little. They were in a stone building in a crossroads there, and just kind of hanging out. And a bunch of enemy troops came by, and they just opened fire at like point blank range, and they all three of the guys ran out of ammunition before they killed anybody. So it was like so difficult to hit somebody, even though they're like moving in the, I don't know, it just seemed very difficult to hit. And also there were several maps where it was very difficult to find out. Like there's the one map where you're at the base of one of the bridges. I'm not sure if it's Arnhem or not, but this is a big gun and it's not drilled out. Well, that's a no-no. We're gonna have to drill this thing out. Don't mind me, I'm just rambling. But yeah, so you're at the base of this bridge, and it's very difficult to kind of wrap your head around like what part is the bridge, and your line of sight is broken. It was very difficult to figure out what was going on. But I don't mind the idea of the Market Garden thing because you've got American forces and British and British airborne and ground troops, so you've got a lot of variety of different things. But you know, I think the graphics got a little bit clearer in some of those. What did I miss? John Peter, good afternoon, but I can't scroll the screen. What's going on? Okay, how about that? Okay, if somebody said something before John Peter, I can't see what you said. I apologize, but this is misbehaving. Um, but yeah, I knew they were going to go on sale, so it's just a matter of when it was going to, and it was like $7 a piece for each one of those games. So I'm sure I'm going to get my money's worth. But everybody hates the Big Red one, and I don't know why. I'm sure we'll find out. But and that's not something that I use video games, historical video games, for motivation to get painting done, not in lieu of. So you know, um, anyhow, I figure that's worth it for that price. I don't mind doing it for that price. But I played Close Combat 2, Close Combat 3, which is the Russian front. Close Combat 4 was Battle of the Bulge, I think. And Close Combat 5 was the Normandy one. And actually, I thought that one was the best because, not because it was involved the Western Allies. My preference would be the Russian front one. But I like the fact that the Battle of the Bulge one and the the Battle of the Bulge one and the Normandy one, you kind of were limited on what units you could pick in your battle groups, and I like that limitation. I like that you have to work within the historical parameters. The Russian front was cool because you could keep the same units and would gather experience, but you ended up getting in this. You end up having a force that was basically invincible after a while, and it just kind of defeated the purpose. You know, it was more fun to play with something that's crappy all the time. And look what I found. I found a machine gun here. I think that's what a machine gun is. That's what it looks like. Looks like an MG34 or something. Wow, we're gonna have to keep that over there. When I did my unboxing of my land of misfit toys, that must have fallen out of the one pile instead of, all I need to do is get a pallet hole going, and this seems to be slipping. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the center because we can adjust it as we go. Oh, something now. Yeah, Dremel tool and stuff really isn't very useful when you're working on this stuff. These things are not very resistant to that anyways. But yeah, the weekend's here, thank goodness. Couldn't get here soon enough. Didn't necessarily have a bad week, but I always welcome the weekend. I used to be able to get some painting done, some hobby painting Monday through Friday in the mornings, but you can't do that. By the time I wake up and check my email or Facebook posts or whatever and do my turns on Field of Glory that I'm playing, it's time to go to work. So there's really not any time to do that sort of thing in the mornings. I only have an hour to myself in the morning. Just not enough. There we go. Move it a little bit. John Blanky. Blanky. Yeah. Good evening, John. Was having a problem with the comments scrolling there. We'll see if we can't hurt my thumb in the process of doing this. It's all right. I got another one. If I hurt, it's the one on my left hand. I'm not that partial to things on my left hand. Would you believe I got used to working with plastic just after building a couple of models? I think this will probably do it. It doesn't have to be super deep. Yeah, we could go a little more than that. Don't screw it up, Tony. I just have to buy a better model of this. There we go. I'll leave enough meat around it that it's not going to fall apart on itself. Now, the kicker with this is going to be, I've got to glue this on here. Actually, this barrel is actually oblong. I don't know if you can tell, but this is not a high quality item. I can't really recommend this to you guys. But I'm going to have to use epoxy on this. And where is Le File? I have these things right here, and then I can't see them. I got too much crap on my desk. I think this will just do for now. I don't think this is going to touch it at all, is it? Yeah, I could be wrong. Let's make sure it's even. I thought that was enough. It's really soft lead. Okay, we're going to have to glue those together. And this stuck on? Good. Okay, so this is good. There's nothing else that we got to do to this thing right now. This is, maybe take some of this flash off. We'll go ahead and do that. When I painted this black probably circa 2000, maybe 1999, I didn't care too much about cleaning this up. And now we got these wizards out there building these model kits and putting pictures of them on the internet. I gotta up my game a little bit, you know. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing to make us all be better. So I think it's a good thing. Okay. Right. Epoxy time. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know a JS2 did not have a coax machine gun. Well, now we know. Late war is not really my thing anyways, but man, this stuff is stinky. And not like I'm getting high stinky, just smells. You know, you start working with paints that don't smell, thinner that doesn't smell, everything that doesn't smell, and then when you get something that does have a smell, you're like, what's going on here? All right. I know I got a toothpick here somewhere. All right. I don't want to go to the kitchen and grab one, so I'm sure I've got a brush here that needs to be condemned that I have longer than I should have had it already. Yeah, this guy right here, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get used as a, you've reached the end of your days. The damn Chinese brush anyways. I'm not buying any more of these things, so. I actually found some brushes. I don't know if they're worth a damn, but because the Windsor and Newtons are very expensive, and I wouldn't mind buying them, but I don't want to buy them sight unseen. But I actually found another company. I don't remember what it is. They actually come from Germany, and they're less expensive, and they come with a variety pack. So you know, I'm used to buying brushes in like multiple packs. So if let's say you buy one that has six of them and one of them's a dud, you're not so upset, you know, instead of just you get the one brush you ordered and it's wrong. So maybe I'm worried about it too much, but I'm just kind of used to going to the store because every brush is kind of unique. And there's no stores here that have Winsor and Newton brushes. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna let this set a little bit because it needs to be a little thicker before we can do stuff like that on it. All right, let's see if we can make myself some room here. Let's get rid of the hours. I don't want my area looking half as messy as everybody else's. So I honestly don't know how a lot of people work on their hobbies. It's just this stuff. I see somebody's work areas and it's just, holy shit, I wouldn't get anything done. It's just too damn distracting. So, but hey, it must work for them. You don't like drilling, especially Zyston figures hands for spears. I have uh, I have an Athenian army from them and to paint, and I and I drilled all of them all in one sitting. And I didn't think it was bad because they're kind of oversized. But how are we doing here? Still? Come on. Do they make 1 minute epoxy? Maybe I should get some of that stuff. No, we're not going to paint this tonight, but would like to get the black on here so that you know I can hit the ground running tomorrow or what have you. I have a feeling it's going to be a weird weekend. I got to go get. I got to try starting to get glasses tomorrow. I had my eyes examined this week, and everything's fine. But the glasses I use for around the house, They're I don't wear them out or anything because if you're used to wearing contacts like I am, and you put on glasses like this, and you walk to the mailbox, you feel like you're walking around like drunk. And they've got a little plastic. I mean, these are probably 10, 12 years old. They've got a little plastic coating on them, and it's already come up here around the edges. So I've got to get another pair of glasses at some point. So we're going to go to the glass store tomorrow, hopefully. Those things are just difficult to do Monday through Friday. So I think we're going to have this squeeze out and then come in after it's dry and sand some of that epoxy down because this is kind of a weird thing. Well, I could have drilled a hole in here and then drilled one in the barrel and then put the little line up peg, and I'm not going to do all those steps. This is a cheapy model. Actually, I don't remember if it was cheapy or not, but this is not we need this to set a lot more. Like I said with the T-34s, if you piss me off, they'll just throw you away. So, but this is the last vehicle. Nah, we got some other ones to do. I just need to do them in between them. I'm not excited about doing the cruise to the War Wagon, in case you guys couldn't tell. It's just a lot of figures in the same pose, and they'll turn out okay, but they're just not calling to me. They're just not calling to me. Nope, still not there yet. We need a little bit more, and then we'll set that somewhere at an angle so it can dry how it's supposed to. Anyhow, another week down. Had a posting today that they put on a Historicon site, and they're saying that basically they don't know if it's going to go on. Well, I could have told you that, but they're at least attempting to keep people informed of what the situation is. But apparently, what I didn't know, you enter or exit the state, there's a 14-day quarantine. So if you enter it, I don't know how they would know that you entered it from another state if you drove in, but whatever. What just means there's just a lot of restrictions there. So I don't know. I don't think it's gonna go on, and that's okay. I'm all right with it not going on. I don't particularly want to go to an event where there's not going to be many people at it. I could just save the money and stay home. The problem now is you're already, somebody had posted that they said that whenever it's just going to have huge attendances. I think it's going to be actually the opposite. I think people are now going to be used to not going to conventions, and it's not going to be a thing, and you're going to have to kind of re not doctrinate, but get people used to going to them again. Um, but I don't know how they're going to enforce a 14-day quarantine if you drive to somewhere. So they're going to ask you, "Where are your papers? I want to see your papers." Yeah, no papers for me, pal. I don't know if I'm going to be successful with this. How about we hold this a little bit longer? We'll set it up against something else. It's a pain that I have these because normally it'd be just like, you know what, screw this noise. I'm just going to go buy some. I think Pegasus makes some kits for the JS2, and they're pretty affordable. Who else makes ones that I want to say Italeri also does as well. They come in two tank packs or whatever, and they're less than. I want to say they're less than $20 for both tanks, but that's stuff I don't have. I already had these from the 20th century for sure, and anyhow. Maybe John Peter knows since he's over there in Europe. Does the Polizei go around asking you for your papers? Still? I'm fine not going to shows, honestly. I don't need to go to buy stuff. Honestly, but to game, I mean, I game every week. To buy stuff, I already have everything I need. Fortunately, I mean, I'd go look at Tufts, like I'm getting low on some Tufts, but other than that, I don't really need the show. So it doesn't mean I won't go. It just, a lot of people need the show more than I do. So, okay, let's see if we can keep this somewhat balanced here. All right. We might have to keep that brush around for something else. All right. Oh. Sup, folks, good evening or good morning, depending on what part of the world you're in. No, the Polizei, hey, you spelt it wrong, are pretty cool. You have to be brazenly breaking the law or the recommendations before. Back when there was freedom, we used to do a lot of cruising, and one of the places that we go to was St. Martin. And St. Martin is half Dutch and half French. And the Dutch side's kind of relaxed. The French side is kind of relaxed too, but are not native police. They're imported from France, and for the purpose, I understand it is so they don't get too cozy with the natives. But they carry MP5s. They run around carrying MP5s. I don't know why. I mean, it's not like it's a very dangerous place, or I sure didn't see it. I mean, maybe things get stolen, but, you know, yeah, they carry, the gendarmes carry fully automatic submachine guns on their motorcycles. I don't think they're on mopeds. They're on motorcycles, but yeah, they're not natives. They want to keep rotating them so they don't get too friendly with them. Which I get it. I mean, you want to avoid corruption. Fear of terrorists in Saint Martin, maybe of boobies because they got nude beaches there and stuff like that. But my daughter was like 9 years old when we went. She had her first experience at a nude beach. Well, there was one person that was nude there, and it's a funny story. She might have been 8. Anyways, it wasn't. It'd be stranger now, but I remember there's this guy. He's sitting there totally buck naked, except one thing: he had a hat on. And I'm like, if that's one article of clothing I'd be on, it wouldn't be the hat. But whatever. Okay, we can go ahead and get started on some of this painting in here because this is going to take all evening to dry for sure. So I can't say I've been anywhere where I've been afraid of terrorists, but they may have been there. I just didn't see them. But if they were terrorists, they didn't fit my terrorist profile. So I remember right after 9/11 happened, we had gone to St. Lucia. And at the airport in St. Lucia, the security was insane. Like to fly back to the States, they had this one guy and they were patting him down. This guy looked like the the Mr. Howell from the Gilligan's Island. He even had the straw hat and everything. And they had him, they had picked him out because he was the seventh person or whatever, and that's who they needed to search. And like, that's not your terrorist, but whatever. I guess they have their own regulations they got to follow. But Yeah, they were super tight on the security there. I guess they didn't want somebody getting through and coming to the U.S. and then find out that they went through their airport. How do you explain that you only had a stick and a whistle? How do you explain that you only? Okay, is this? I found out in the last couple of weeks that they make this Vallejo primer uh, in the in Dunkelgelb in dark in dark yellow. I don't know if it's the right tone because I also found out recently that there's multiple tones of it depending on the year. So, because I've always seen like some models that are painted, some German tanks, and they're painted in it, and it just looks god awfully wrong. Sometimes it looks too yellow. Sometimes it looks almost like a desert camo color, and come to find out, there's like different shades that happen at different time of the, depending on when it happened. Apparently, the very first one that they used from from the beginning of in early 43 up until like August of 43, so right after Kursk, was the a really bright, weird yellow color, supposedly. So, like I said, it's kind of cool learning all these things again, and some things I didn't know because when I stopped doing World War II things, it was about 2003. So the internet has progressed a lot since 2003. There's a lot more sites for all kinds of things and so forth. And I didn't know there were multiple shades of Dunkelgelb. But I don't like that one. I don't like the mustard yellow color. I like the one that's a little bit more buff looking. So, actually, to be honest, I don't like any of them. I like my Panzer's gray, but you, some vehicles you just can't do in that color. So, all right, let's flip this. Well, we're gonna do those guys. We're gonna do those guys last. And man, we got a lot of vehicles to do for that. Uh, I once I was once strip searched in Tel Aviv when leaving the country. That was fun. Um, yeah, it's only if you're not circumcised. Then they give you the once over. The second visit, we had a bomb scare again when I was leaving. It was not me. Yeah, I don't want to go to the Middle East anywhere. I'm fine with other people want to go there. I'm no, I'm fine not going there. That's there's just some places that I just don't want to go to unless you're gonna let me be fully armed, like the people that are there too. And since they don't allow me to do that, I just as well not go there. You know, so I don't need to go into places that are kind of on a war footing. So I'm good. I don't like to experience any hardship of any kind when I'm on vacation. We don't get a whole lot of vacation days a year, so you want to make sure it's a win. So that's why I'm not a fan of camping. I'm like, nope, I get paid for less trouble than this. No, I do like hiking and all that stuff and being outdoors and nature and all that, but I want to go back to a little bit more civilization than that. I did camping when I was in the Boy Scouts, and I think I'm scarred for life. And no, nobody touched me. I'm just saying, sleeping on somewhere hard, you know. I'll go ahead and say that before somebody says it. Beat you to it. Rutabaga. No, I don't want to. I don't want to sleep on a hard floor again. Okay, how are we doing on this thing? Is this? That's pretty good. How are we doing over here? Okay. Bedtime. Catch you later. Have a good night, man. See you tomorrow morning or so. And we can put the machine gun on there later. Oh, crap. I forgot to take a picture of this beforehand. Oh, well. I need to remember to do that. Some of these things are just so junky that I want to take pictures of what they look like before, so when they're finished, like it's really ancient tank. Yes, from circa 1944. Mudwoof. You guys, you guys got some cold weather out there. You guys got some cold weather. I was a little jealous. I don't know about people crashing all over the place, but you guys got some cold weather there in Texas. It was hot today here. It was like in the, it was close. I want to say it was close to 90, but I think winter's about over for us. The little bit that we get. Although did okay this year. It was a little wetter than normal, which I like, but no ice, no snow here. For shame. It supposedly snowed here in town in that winter of 1989, 1990. And that was the one winter that we were not in town. Well, now we're frequently not around in the holiday season, but that year was the first time we had gone out of the country. Yeah, I came back, and you never believe what happened. Great. Okay. It is a JS2. The T34 is here, complete. This is actually an old kit I had a long time ago. We put new decals on it, and we may weather it up a little bit more, but we need to put it on a stand. And these are the guys that we finished up last week or week before last. They're just kind of on a minimalist sand. It allows you to, I like for them to be able to see what kind of terrain they're in. It just helps tie the whole thing together. For me, I did the Jeep, I think 2 days ago, finished it up. So the Gaz 67 Jeep, or GAZ. Nobody did give me an answer. We're going to continue calling it Gaz Jeep. That's what I always called it. Might be one of those things that you pronounce just the letters, but I don't know. Did we miss something? No, that's probably it. We'll let this booker dry. Well, yeah, if you pay attention, or if you, because I haven't seen you come on in a little bit, Fango. I've got all these 20 millimeter armor kits that I'm going to try to do in between my 15s, like when something's drying or something like that, just to kind of do them. I've been wanting to do them for a while, but the idea of just totally stopping the 15s for like a year and doing all the tanks just doesn't seem like the way to go. So we're going to kind of do them in between stuff because I don't really need to get them done by a certain time, and this thing's already bent over a little bit. Come on, you can do it. And this is really not a high quality item. Oh well. I don't want to badmouth his stuff, but some of his stuff's just pretty crude. But I already had it, so I want to buy more, but I'm not going to let myself buy more tanks until I finish the ones I have. And I have a bunch of them. So if you guys haven't seen my unboxing, I believe it was called 20 millimeter Land of Misfit Toys. That's a big box that I had of all my 20 millimeter armor kits for throughout the year. And this is the problem with priming. I get paint on myself, which some of you guys are used to, but I'm not. I get freaked out that I'm like, oh no, I'm going to put it on a figure and then ruin it. But all right, so we've got these two war wagons complete, so to speak. And we're going to move on to the crew here. What we got here? What'd you say, boy? That looked big. So are you playing something? I think I know what you mean. Eventually, my goal for 2021 is to get used to playing our World War II skirmish game again, which is a set of rules that's out of print. I've been playing World War II in 20 years since I started playing DB. A set of rules called the Face of Battle. We've also played a game called Normandy Firefight, I believe is what it is, but it's only very few people, only very few figures on a side. So all these vehicles, you wouldn't use them together. You'd have only maybe one or two on a side at the most. It's basically bolt action. Nah, I tried it. It's not World War II-ish enough for me. It's not. I'm really picky and I'm very particular about my World War II rules. They've got to be like real granular. And World War II, I mean, bolt action just doesn't do it for me. Neither does Flames of War or none of that operational skill stuff. So the only two things that come close are that Firefight Normandy, which has Normandy Firefight, which has no vehicle rules for in it, because it's really meant for you to run like two or three guys. So really small engagements, or the Face of Battle, which is really like a half squad per person. So it's but I think some of the expansions for the Face of Battle are on there, and I'm going to do, once I'm more familiar with it, I'll probably do a video on the rules. But I didn't realize that they're out of print. They're the author's Canadian, and I think it came out in 2001, and they're just not around anymore. So, which is a shame. I mean, I liked them. We were actually coming up with our own set of rules. A buddy of mine, the original Mitch and myself, were coming up with a set of rules, but we didn't get very far because we just didn't have the dedicated player base that we have now to be able to get things done. So let's put a gun in this guy's hand. Let's paint this big old thing. Well, we didn't get very far, so when I came across these rules in 2001, probably found out about them on the miniatures page. Remember that thing? I know some people still go on the miniatures page, but I don't anymore. Probably found out about it on the miniatures page and picked them up, and it was scary close how many things were similar to the whole mentality that we were doing as well. So we just kind of gave that a shot. We're happy with it, you know. Um, let's use mahogany brown for the gun. Let's give them a pretty good full color on that. All right, JS2. Let's get out of the way here, and you too. But yeah, so a lot of rule sets will be like, oh, it's a skirmish set of rules, and then they have you moving around 30 guys. Well, that played that was kind of okay was Chain of Command. It was kind of okay, but then it kind of wasn't. So, like I was mentioning earlier, I really liked the Close Combat series of games for the computer, and I like stuff. Even that's kind of large scale, but that's kind of the stuff that I'm interested in doing, or just painting these things for yucks, because no matter what World War II set of rules I'm using, they're not going to be as good. They're not going to be as playable as DBA, and I don't mean because they're not written as well, because DBA leaves a little bit to be desired, but as far as understandability, but I'm not going to be able to get a game done in an hour, so nothing's going to be as playable as that, so, but it's just a different animal, and man, I really got this black stuff everywhere. Hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta get this stuff off of me, or I'm gonna have like moments of panic where I'm like, no, I got paint on me, and I'm gonna get it on something else. Um, right back. Okay, well that's done. Taken care of. Yeah, I just freak out. I know lots of people. I know several people that paint and actually use their thumbnail as a palette. I'm like, that's just too distracting. I try to come up with excuses not to get pulled off of task. Like doing this video here. I can't just, oh, let's see what else is on another YouTube channel. I can't. I'm making my own content, so it keeps me on task. Whether anybody is interested in it is a different matter altogether. But I do it. I do it to stay on task, and I like talking hobby. You know, so that's especially the painting stuff. I mean, Mitch is good for gaming, but I might as well be talking about astronomy when we're doing painting stuff. He's like, yeah, whatever, just give them to me. I want to play. All right, what I miss? Who did I piss off? Envious. Why is it cold up there? I'm always wearing shorts. I'm barefoot too in the house. I like my feet being cold, but it was probably feel like close to 90 today. It was hot. So, I'm the one that's envious. But you guys probably get cold weather and have those dreary skies. I can't deal with the dreary skies. That's just I'm gonna tap out for that one. I can't deal with that stuff. So yeah, I don't wear long pants in the house. Nope. I like being as cool as I can. I gotta wear long pants all day long when I go to work. So it looks like the wood goes all the way around this thing. This is a strange early firearm. Oh well, that's how we're gonna paint it. That's how it's cast on there, so that's how we're gonna do it. But then again, I don't want to live somewhere where I have to shovel snow. So that's not really interested in that. But I think our cold weather is gone this year. That was it. Pooh. We'll go over there for game night. I think like a month ago, or whatever. Mitch had the freaking heater running. I had to call him a sissy or whatever, but he doesn't care. He's from Illinois, but he's cold all the time, and I'm the opposite. I'm from here, and I'm always hot, always. Look, iced coffee. Why would I drink warm coffee? My body temperature is like 211 degrees. And I'm envious of you guys that can work from home. I would love to work from home. Wear whatever the hell you want. You know, I could kick ass wearing this. Not have to wear PPE, no hard hat. Not that I need it at work, but it's required. Let's see what we got here. You got up to low 40s today, which compared to the last couple of weeks was an absolute heat wave. Now the streets are running with water from all the melting snow. Oh, it's probably nasty too. You're in Nebraska, right? Not Kansas? And Nebraska's north of Kansas. A little bit. That little notch that's in Nebraska is where Kansas fits in, I think. No, no, it's right above it. I don't know. That's the middle of nowhere. That's the states that, they didn't know what to do with. Um, the thing that gets me about states, why aren't the time zones set at state lines? It's asinine to do it any other way than that. I mean, okay, say you take Florida, okay? Ours is split in two. Well, they split it in the middle of nowhere where there's nothing out there. There's like a Apalachicola or national forest or something like that on some river. And when you cross the river, just make it at the state line. Okay, so the people in Pensacola used to being, and in the same type zone as Eastern. It just doesn't. I can't understand. Even Texas, even big ass freaking Texas. They should be able to be in one time zone. I'm pretty sure they're in two. Just pick one. We call it the Texas time zone. I don't know. I always offer real solutions that make sense. Nebraska. Okay. The middle of nowhere, or maybe it's the center of everywhere. Yeah, next to Kansas. Kansas is beside Colorado. Yeah, if you go due east of Colorado, you get to Kansas, and Nebraska's above that, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, anyhow, my dad used to, well before I was born, he used to live in Kansas, and he would just, in the 60s, in the mid 60s or mid 60s, early 60s, I guess it'd be the mid 60s. And he just telling me how he hated putting the chain on the tires and all that crap. I didn't get to experience anything. I just wanted to play in the snow when I was a kid. Never got to. Never got to play in the snow until I was 46. Yeah. Oh well. Shit happens. So our preference when we take our winter break, our winter vacation, we've been trying to do a vacation at between Christmas and New Year's, take that time off. We go somewhere that's colder than here. So last year we went to Tennessee, had a great time, and usually go somewhere colder than here, which is pretty much everywhere. Okay, let's see if we can get to the core color here. I'm not loving this brush. This brush is already starting to misbehave. It's had better days than this. Started watching your video the other day, Rick, with the Legos. I had a bunch of those growing up. Not like you. I mean, well, when I had them, we didn't have all those specialty pieces. It was like, we got these pieces, these big ones and the square ones, and they come in black, white, red, blue, yellow, and I think that was it. That's the only colors we had. And the only little micro figures that were available at the time, we're talking like mid to late 70s, was a spaceman. They had some other stuff, like they had the police officers and stuff like that, but they had the little space force or whatever those guys were, and they had their own little Lego. They had like a planet here with like almost like a Jetsons type symbol or whatever. That's all they had. That's all they had back then. They had those and the policemen, and I think they had some kits where like it would have the boat, and I think the boat came in like three sections, and it had like this weight you put on it, you can make it float in the water, but that was it. There was no specialty stuff, if you wanted to build something. So I would make what was I doing at the time? I was into battleships and stuff like that. So I ended up building some battleships, but I didn't want to mix the colors because you can't have a battleship that has like red, yellow, and blue or whatever. So I'd have like the one that was just all black and white and stuff, and tried to use those pieces. And yeah, I finally got interviewed about my Lego collection the other day. I posted that video of it. I had to get up and leave. Yeah. Yeah, that video. Yeah, I don't have to tell you, videos are fun to make, even if you're just the only one in them. It helps process things, sometimes talking your way through it. I find that I end up having to have to do an outline, or I'll end up forgetting to talk about something unintentionally. So, what I don't get, I actually knew somebody who wasn't able to talk in front of people. It's easy to talk in front of people if you know what you're talking about. If you don't know what you're talking about, yeah, that's a problem. But if it's something that is your thing, it's easy to talk about that. Well, I actually know someone. I did know someone. I actually don't remember who that person is, but it's someone who sings, which the people that I know that sing is not a very big list of people. So it's got to be one of them. Um, they could sing in front of people, but they couldn't talk in front of people. And that's like, what? No, I can't sing in front of people. And that's a good thing for everyone's ears. I'm not a singer. I don't get it. I don't get why that is appealing that would never be appealing to me. But talking in front of people is easy if you know what you're talking about. Maybe not if they're booing every second thing you say, but I remember when I was in school, you'd have some kind of a project and you have to talk in front of people, and it'd always be the people that would like be really like embarrassed, and you weren't good at it, and they just figured, well, if I just talk like really low, then it won't be as embarrassing because people won't understand what I'm saying. I'm like, come on, dude, enunciate. I don't have a problem. Sometimes I enunciate too much. Right. So now we're going to do some skin. Skin to win. Red leather. So yeah, I did a video of the kits that I hadn't touched in probably 20 years. I was surprised by how many things I found in there, and I think that I'm going to have to be pretty methodical about how I'm going to go and put them together, because a lot of this stuff is, well, I've moved twice since I've gotten them, and a lot of the things were just kind of thrown in there. And if you watch that video, you'll notice, like, man, why does he have so many things started? Because that's what would happen. I'd get something and I want to know what it looked like. So I'd start building it. And after I was done with the road wheels, I'd come across some situation. Like maybe if it was a German vehicle, I'd be like, I don't know if I'm going to paint this gray or dark yellow, or the dark, late war dark yellow. So I'd be like, oh, well, we'll just start working on this Sherman instead. And I'd just leave a bunch of half-assed done things instead of just making a decision and, and deal with it. So that's what we're going to attempt to do, is make decisions and deal with it. But there's some kits that have the parts are all over the place. So I think I'm going to have to build the things that are more complete first. And then eventually it'll be apparent what some of the parts are for on some of them. But I'm not scared. I'm just going to take one thing at a time. So, or I might do something like, okay, when it's time to build the Panzer IVs, build all 4 Panzer IV. I think I got 4 or 5 of them. Just build them all at once, and then we can paint all those at once. Just do them methodically. So that's just my ramble thought on that. Let's try this here. How did I get flesh all over me? The Vallejo bottles are the best, but even then, it can be messy. So, and we didn't have the windows open. It just was that cold, because it'll get into the 20s here. Not anymore, but it did. That's free air conditioning. You know how much you'd have to pay to get that, and now you have it for free? This is all out of whack. We need to fix this. This goes here, and then this goes. I can move it. Why isn't this moving? Okay. All right. What time is it? 9:15. We're good till 10. We'll run this till 10. And then I'll do something else. I'd be careful how much of that coffee I have, or I'm going to be a pain to deal with. Or so I've been told. Caffeine, it's my drug of choice. It's how things happen. Okay. A little bit more of that. But yeah, I'm really picky when it comes to World War II stuff, or I just don't even want to play it. I've mentioned this story before. I had a friend of mine who's a war gamer, and he's a history teacher, and he did his thesis on something I don't remember exactly, but something Napoleonics, and he won't game Napoleonics because it just finds it lacking. And I get that. And I feel the same way about World War II stuff. You know, I'm a I am a certified tread head and rivet counter. So I'm not playing a set of rules where it's like, well, it has one side armor factor and one front armor factor and maybe a rear, and that's it. No, I want to see top of turret, different angles of different things, and that's what I like. It's you know, maybe I'm no fun to play with, but nah, I still have a good time. You're just not going to get a lot accomplished. It's not like you're going to finish a whole battle in one sitting. So at the time, we didn't really have a place where we could just leave things set up. So I don't know if we're going to play in 2021, but I need to at least do some practice stuff so I can explain to the rules. I'm not going to bring out the rules and get the boys to play until I know that I'm familiar enough with them that it's not going to leave them a bad taste in their mouth. So, but it's the opposite end of DBA. Absolutely. It's percentile based system. You move individual people. A lot of detail. You throw a grenade, you figure out where it lands, and then what effect it does. Not just he's hit, he's not. There's all kinds of different. In some ways, it's easier than DBA because it's very much you see what you get. You know, you get each figure gets an action each turn, or they could get multiple actions, but one at a time. So it's really easy to see what one takes one action. You either move or you fire and move, or you do this or you reload, or it's pretty cut and dry. It's not very abstract at all, which is what I'm used to. I'm used to playing games that aren't abstract at all. So it was a big shock for me when I started playing DBA, and you have to all these things are abstracted in there, and you just kind of pretend that they're included, even though they may or may not be. So it's kind of a rude awakening for me. I didn't take to it very easily. So the only reason I could tolerate it is because it's not my my first love of period. I couldn't do a World War II DBA game. So hey, but that's me. You might enjoy bolt action. I'm not big on converting people to my way of thinking. I can present my point, but if you don't like my point, then that's fine. Play your own damn way. I don't care. You know, I'm a big fan of not telling people what to do, and I require the same in response. So I downloaded a demo last weekend of a computer game that was just coming out at the last time that my other computer died. So I never really got a chance to play it. And it's a game called, I think it's called Men of War. And it's kind of a skirmish type game where you're controlling only a few people, and you can go in and pick up other weapons, or change your helmet, take up other stuff, pick other people's helmet, And I started playing. I played it for about 3 or 4 hours, maybe longer last weekend. And right off the bat, there's like a mission you can do as the Americans, a mission you can do as the Russians, and a mission you can do as the Germans. And right off the bat, I'm playing the Russians, and it's a curse scenario. I'm like, okay, cool. And I get the wrong kind of T-34s. I'm like, I can't play. I can't play this. I can't play this. You know. Um, so that's my hang up with that. But I use the computer games as excitement to do more painting, not in and of themselves, because I think that it's taken me a while to really find games that I really care for, because a lot of them are like, yep, I've done this before. You download a demo and it's like, yep, I've done this a million times. No, I've painted Panzer General. Okay, yeah, I've done this a million times. So the game that I actually thought was pretty, and even though it was very basic, I still liked it quite a bit, was a series of games that were deceptively simple looking called Battle Academy. And they looked like you were moving around these cute little micro armor type things. It was turn based, so you weren't like stressed out. That's another thing. Is they have too much real time stuff, and I'm like, I already have a stressful job that I get paid for. I don't want to be stressed out by this. Well, there's a lot of games that I see now, and it's like, man, the people that enjoy playing this must not have very. They must just, not have a job or something, because way too stressful. Mm, Put ending on here. Yeah, this is probably metal right here. This part right here, and this part underneath probably is not. I'm going to paint that a different color wood other than the one that goes around the firearm. What else do we have that we might need this color for? Got little packages and stuff on there. We need to. No, that's in brass. All right, let's get the brass out. Let's get the brass out. Mike B. Used to be a time where I knew so many mics it was out of control. Now you're like the only mic I know and or I'm aware of. DBA question. Okay, perfect. Hit me, because I'm a terrible multitasker, but I think I do a fair job of working on painting stuff and talking. So let me just find what the next color is that I'm going to do. What is it? What was I going to do? I distract easy though, but hopefully I know. Oh yeah, the brass. Okay, let's get the brass, and then we can talk about. I'll look at what your question is. Absolutely, ask questions. Ask questions. Don't tell me what my opinion is on something, or I'll tell you, or I might just tell you what it is. Okay, DBA question. Okay. If an element is in front, base contact with an enemy element, okay, can you use a pip to move it straight back out of contact? And I enjoy your painting. Well, thank you. You mean enjoying the paint videos? Good. I'm glad you enjoy that as well. In DBA 3.0, once you're engaged in contact, you can't pull out of it. You could in 2.2. I can't talk about earlier versions than 2.2. I've only played 2.2, the house rules that we created with 2.2 plus, and then 3.0. But in 2.2, you could move out. And I kind of like that you can't. I kind of like that when units are locked in combat, your ability to affect them as the commander in chief, which is basically the role you're playing, survival. That's what they're worried about. So no, you can't use once they're locked in, they're locked in forever, unless until they kill the unit or they get recoiled back, and it's a unit that doesn't follow up. Mike B, where are you from? You don't have to give me a street address, but country, state. Yeah, don't give me a state if it's not the United States because it wouldn't help me. Yeah, it would. I'm better than most people with geography, but I know that's not saying a lot. But that used to be my first thing that I liked about seven. I was either 7 or 8 years old. My dad gave me a globe, and I knew all the. This would have been 1978. We were in Alabama at the time. 1977 or 1978, something like that. I knew all the countries and all the all the capitals and all that stuff. So now it's all a date. Now they don't use English speaking names and all kinds of stuff. So I don't really follow up with that stuff. But there he is, Crossing Obstacles Gaming. The guy with a cool logo. Awesome. Love that little cog. Okay, um, so we've got this little part. We're going to make it out of wood as well. This little part that's under. I don't know if I should call this a. There we go. If we should call this an arquebus. I think this is even earlier than that. But that little part, we're going to make that wood, but we don't want to use the same wood that is on the firearm, just so it pops a little bit. So let's see. I know what color I want to use. Let me just see if I can find it. It's a brown, and it is one of the ones made by those guys I don't care for too much. The Army Painter. I like their colors. I just don't like the consistency of their paints. But we have them, so we will use them. It's not like what's their bottom looks like. There's a slash through it and 340. Okay. Let's see if I can find this chip. Is it this one? Nope. Is it this one? There it is. Okay, it's a little lighter than that. It's Monster Brown. I've seen a monster. Yeah, their consistency is a little different than what I'm used to. Oh, this one says made in France. Are they all made in a different place? I thought they were all made in Denmark. What's another Army Painter one have? This one's made in Denmark. This one's says made in France and other EU countries. Maybe only the monster colors made in France. I have a yellow. Where's the yellow one made? Denmark. Okay, what about this color? I think this is called Skeleton Bone. Yep. Where's this one made? Denmark. Maybe just this one outcast is made in France. You want to make all the monster paints? The monster brown paints. All right. Let's take my glasses off so I can see. What? All right. big thing of paint for a tiny little area. So we're just going to come in here. We're going to mix us a little bit. Yeah, see, there's hope that I'll get this guy done tonight because I'm filming. If I wasn't filming, I would have gotten sidetracked on something else. I'd be watching somebody else's videos and looking at the camera and not looking at the camera, looking at the whatever's being played on the video and get distracted. I wouldn't get it done. So the sooner I get these guys done, we start working on the next. Dayton, Ohio. Okay, cool. I've been to Ohio once, twice. Most memorable thing about Ohio is I had a wargaming guy that I used to, in the mid 90s, it was here. He was a chemistry student at the time, and he was from Ohio, and he said he did not ever want to go back because he said all the women were ugly there. And I said, come on, that's not true. I thought Ohio was pretty. I don't know about Dayton. Our main plant is in a place called Canal Fulton, which is near Canton. And I thought the area was pretty nice. You guys don't have palm trees. You have those cute little Christmas trees in your front yards. I didn't think it was that bad. And of course, our Scott's from Ohio. I don't remember where in Ohio he's from. Yeah, I don't remember. Does he sound like he's from Ohio? I don't know. Ish. Okay. He sounds Ohio-ish. My wife calls me the mighty morpher. I go somewhere and I start talking like the locals, so I'm forbidden to go to Boston. I mean, not immediately, but after being there a while. No Boston for you. All right. So we need a sheath. Is that the word I'm looking for? What you put the damn sword in. Scabbard. Actually, could be a sheath also. I don't remember. I always have this problem. I always bring things up and I don't remember what the hell they're called. It happened all the time. Let's use this British khaki. I know it's British because it says so. Coat the Arms, my favorite paints. And unfortunately, there's not anywhere I can readily just go and pick them up. I'd have to mail order them, which I don't have a problem with, but I'd only mail order the colors I already have. The other ones, you can't look at them and make a good judgment call, but I love these. I've had these a long time. I've had these probably 20 years. Where would I pick these guys up at? A show. I must have picked these up at the show in Tampa in 1996. That's got to be where they're from. And these are alive and well. Kicking it old school. All right, let's get some of this out here. Yeah, the problem is I dust. Let's see if we can get some of this stuff off. We've got, when I did the grass and blew it, I had this thing open and I got little pieces of grass, a few. think they're mostly gone now. So we should have another game on Monday night. Don't know what it is yet. Still to be determined. So unless too many people show up, we'll be filming it not live. So you guys can get some better resolution in there. I go live and automatically dumb down at 720, and that just doesn't cut it for a lot of this stuff. Just noticed one. I was talking to the guys last week off camera. I said, it seems like the kind of battles we don't do are the ones that most people end up doing, which is bring whatever army you want and I'll fight it. And, opens. We don't really do open matchups. And that's just fine because that's what most people do. So you don't need to see Marian Romans versus Teutonic Knights. Bring your own best army. And these guys actually have quite a few little details to them. They're pretty nice figures. I don't know how long these particular ones have been around because some Essex stuff is newer than others. I don't think these are super old. All right, let's get the white over here. So, I've been wanting to work on my World War II stuff for a little while, and I just didn't have the nerve to do it and put my 15s off to the side. So I think the way I've circumvented it is, just kind of doing them at the same time as well. Obviously, they're not my first priority, but I do want to get them done because it allows me to do some weathering and stuff like that that I can't do with figures. So, all right, and we're going to use a different color bag for the bag so it stands out a little bit, even though it's kind of in a place where you can't really see it very well. Let's close this thing back up. We don't need this drying out. Yeah, this bottle design really works for longevity, and so does this old school Citadel stuff. The problem that well, maybe not this color. Is this one still alive? Nah, nauseating blue. Oh, I might be able to bring that to life. That's not really a color I use very much. I may have two of them. That's what it is. Look at this one. This is not even open. Shadow gray, not even open. Should I sell it on eBay? This is certainly from. Does it have a date on it? No. No, these designs were good, but even then, they would still run into issues like the back would break, and you have two separate pieces, like I have, you know. But yeah, I have. This is the second shadow gray that I have, so I did like the and they're supposedly the same manufacturer of these paints, so or so I have read. Okay. If somebody knows, are these the same also formula of paint as the Foundry system? If they are, I may get some Foundry system. Even though I'm not going to use the Foundry system, I don't think 3 tones is enough for me. I need more than that. I think probably 5 is a bare minimum for what I'm used to. All right, let's paint a little baggy here. Way too dark. Oh, geez. It was 9:15 a moment ago. Now it's 9:45. The hell? Let's see if we can get this guy done. Then, of course, we'll pick up again in the morning for about an hour session or something like that. You guys know that. You know what my schedule is. I'm trying to keep it kind of consistent. Okay. We got a little belt buckle there. Let's do that in a metallic type color. Okay, now I got to figure out what the hell's on his feet exactly. I think it might be like a tall boot or something. That's what we're going to paint. Let's get us this sunny leather brown. Oh, this is flat earth. Well, that's almost the same damn thing. They're all kissing cousins. Is this where? Leather brown. Here we go. And then I'll be 1/8 of the guys on the 2 war wagons complete. But I wanted a different color firearm than I did the war wagon, so you know wood color wise. Let's move this out of the way so we don't have a. So we want to make sure. Let's not grab this as well. You know, you have a different color wood than you do when it's peeking over the wagon in the actual wagon, so that you see some differentiation. You play 28 millimeter, usually double DBA armies with historical or potential historical opponents. The game plays better within historical periods, in my honest opinion. I agree with you as well. I think it does. Ah, Alan, there you are. I haven't seen you in a while. Hi, Tony. Picked up some 28 millimeter World War II Marines. I'm gonna give it a try. Okay. I've only painted I haven't painted 28 millimeter scale, you know. So I don't dare paint him now. I'd be spending 10 hours a figure. I just don't have time to do that, you know. So just finished classical Indians, and I'm working towards some Macedonian successor editions. Oh, excellent. So you like big figures and you like lots of them because you said like double sized. Yeah. All right. So what we got? What did we do with the other brown? Did we even put it down? Alan, I'm sure you guys got some snow up there in Asheville area this year. I'll give you a ring next time I'm in that area. I don't know when it is, but we went to Chattanooga this last Christmas break, and it was parts of it reminded me of Asheville. What I liked about it was it's a lot closer than Asheville, mostly because a lot of it reminded me of it. So, hoorah, USMC. You think around 8 inches of snow. I guess that's a lot. The only place I've ever lived where it snowed was Huntsville, Alabama. We were there for 3 years in the late 70s. And I think we may have gotten like 1 inch of snow one time. It wasn't enough to even throw a snowball at somebody. I remember that. So it wasn't until like 3 years ago that we went to Utah that I got in an environment where there was snow. But yeah, I don't want to drive on some of those roads with those kind of icy conditions. So although I did get a chance to drive on ice when we went to Colorado, that was interesting. Wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad because I was driving. I would have made a really piss poor passenger. But we're fortunate that we're on the north end of the state, so to speak. So it's a lot easier for us to get out and go visit something totally different than it is the people that are like much farther south down. So 'cause it's about an hour and a half for us to get out of Florida. So we're at the we're at the top end of it. I need to see if my painting has gotten better. And what I mean by that is in the last 3 years, 4 years, let me round up just to be safe. I've painted without contacts in. I'm naturally nearsighted, but before then, I would just paint 20/20 vision. Like all my DVA armies, half my DVA armies are probably painted in 20/20 vision. like these guys. I don't know. I bet the painting's better now. I'm certainly enjoying more of the intricacies of the casting more now. Appreciating the work that the sculptor does. I'm certainly doing more of that. Whether that means that they're painted better, I don't know. But I got a built-in like 6.0 magnification, so yeah, I just had to start. I had to start painting without contacts in because I couldn't see up close. Okay, I think we're good with that. We need to mess with the handle a little bit more. I don't think I ever came in and, well, some of this is missing, so let's go ahead and do that on that side. Okay, good. All right, now we're going to, let's mix up a gray badge here. Yeah, we didn't come close to hitting all the breweries in Asheville. There's a metric shit ton of them up there. Definitely left some stuff to go back to go. Okay, maybe do a little bit more highlighting. Just a little bit brighter to get the pop in a few places here. It's done. Okay, I think we're done. Oh, we probably got a null his ass. Did we do that on these figures? I bet I didn't. Let's go ahead and do that on his helmet. Not his ass, his helmet. How close did we get to 10? Pretty close. Well, that's good. I do want to get this army done. The incentive for me is just start working on the next one. Actually, that's not true. To seriously start considering what my next army is going to do, because that's fun. That's one of the parts I enjoy doing more than anything else, the planning. So, okay, we'll let that dry because we need to do that. Let that and do the details on the helmet in the morning. We're going to put this guy front and center because that's what we're going to work on in the morning. We'll hopefully have about an hour or so to work on it tomorrow morning before we got to do the things that we got to do. But yeah, here's the first gunner, and I'm not sure which one of these two wagons is going to go on. But anyhow, well, that's where we leave it at. So you guys have a good night, and if you guys wake early, come join me. And if not, we'll see you later on this weekend. Happy painting, happy gaming, guys. Good night. Bye-bye.